Do 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 do. Josh's Order Corner. That's me.
I think I told Chuck I wasn't going to do this, but I made like a chiller video and it's 30 minutes long, and that's too long for a single video. So we're going to do two. One where I talk about chiller and the experience, and one where I show the things that I got signed. So this is video number one, where we talk about the experience that I had in Parsippany, New Jersey for Chiller Theater Weekend. Now, that would have been, I'm looking at the dates now because I'm going to forget the dates. Friday, October 27th through Sunday, October 29th. And it was amazing. I flew out of Cleveland bright and early on Friday. I sat next to my boss in my day to day job, which was the weirdest coincidence of all time, but he's a good dude, so it wasn't a complaint. And Rob picked me up at the airport pretty much as soon as I landed and got to the hotel. And it was awesome because the first person I met was S.D.Nemeth, who you may know as Bixby Snyder from RoboCop, Part 1 and Part 3. He was supposed to come back in Part 2 as the president, but they nixed that idea, unfortunately. And he's awesome, and he's from Ohio, so we had that in common and got to talk about that a little bit. And then Alan Robinson came over so they could have some breakfast together, and he was also very kind. Alan Robinson was Stu's stuntman in Scream Part 1, and he was Ghostface in Scream Part 2, and he is one of the nicest dudes you could ever imagine. As we were walking away from that area to find my room, Uncle Ed was meandering by, so I got to see our internet friend, Uncle Ed, who is now a real life friend. He always was. And I was so stoked to have met him. That guy is a legend at Chiller with his vendor relations and everything he does. I also told him that I felt bad because, well, he called me out on it, really. I didn't have his pin on my man purse because it was here on my desk. So that's my fault. I'm sorry. So we went to our room. Rob took me to my room, and I started packing these cards. They were like promo cards that we're going to be handing out. And that's what I did for a while. And I learned if you're a card collector that sleeves cards and you have a bunch of cards, spread them out, the sleeves, like a fan in your hand, and then take the cards and just bop, 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 spread them out. Bop, 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 bop. You get this little nice machine thing going. That's how you pack cards. And then I got the message I'd been waiting for. Chuck, for horror's sake, had arrived. And it was my time to meet Chuck face to face. Now, before I tell you about meeting Chuck, let me tell you about how we got here. So, a while back, I went out to Motor City Nightmares in Detroit, where I had the opportunity to meet Mathieu Coderre, who is being represented by SigsCom Marketing. He came down from Canada. It was his first convention appearance ever. And it was such a rad experience for us. For him, it was a nightmare because his flight got delayed and delayed and delayed. And for SigsCom too, they were getting a little stressed out. We weren't sure if he was going to make it. In doing that, I met some awesome people. I met Doug and I met Rob, and I gained some trust from them, and I'm very appreciative of that. The experience there was kind of a sit back and watch and see how things go. And then I had the opportunity to work with Matt Osborne at the Sleepaway Camp reunion at Cinema Wasteland to get some more convention experience. Now, when the Sleepaway Camp happened, I had already agreed to go to Parsippany, New Jersey for Chiller to help out more with SigsCom. And I was terrified. I knew I could do it. It wasn't that. It was just like, what if I do something wrong? Um, what if I screw up? What if they don't like me? What if I smell bad? Just stupid bullshit. And Rob and I talked quite a bit. Schwabe and I talked a bit. Uh, Schwabe helped me he booked my flights, he got my hotel and everything arranged, and really made it easy on me to get out there. SigsCom Marketing represents a handful of amazing talent, and the ones that they brought to this show was Lynn McRee, who played Maureen Prescott in Scream 1, 2, and 3, Alan Robinson, who played Stu's stunt double in Scream 1, and then he was also Ghostface in Scream 2. Mathieu Coderre from Scream 6, second convention appearance ever, first time on the East Coast. Kevin Ball from Jeepers Creepers and a humanitarian who wrote a book about it. And then also S.D.Nemeth, Doc, Bixby Snyder from RoboCop, one of the kindest people I've ever met in my life. They brought this talent in and they invited me to work with them. And as we were conversing about it, I said, well, Chuck is a convention pro. He goes to them all the time. He would be great for this as well. They reached out to him. They got him involved too. So I got to have someone I consider one of my best friends that I'd never met in real life working side by side with me the entire weekend as we rocked out at Chiller Weekend. So Chuck drove his happy self all the way from West Virginia to New Jersey. And when he got there, I was like, yeah, dude, meet me at the entrance. Well, this hotel is massive, and there are like 2 entrances, and he went to one, I went to the other, and then finally we found each other. And it was like meeting someone that you see every single day. It was really not like an awkward moment to be had. It was just, boom, we're friends. Let's do this. So we went back to the room, and we started packing more cards. Chuck is a machine. He did not rest or anything. He just jumped right into work. Once we had the cards packed, doors, I think it was like 5 to 11 on the first day. We went out and we started handing out cards. Like we went to the line and it was, I have these cards. They're going to tell you about some of the guests inside in the Noble Ballroom. We have Alan Robbins from Scream 1 and 2. The details of his roles are on the back. We have Mathieu Coderre from Scream 6. Everything he did is on the back. We have Kevin Ball from Jeepers Creepers, from Godzilla, the author of Heart of a Stuntman. They're all in the Noble Ballroom, ready to meet you, stoked to meet you, and cannot wait to sign your pieces. Just like that, up and down through the line. It was one of the best things of the weekend. It's a really great way to meet the crowd and let everyone know that SigsCom Marketing was there and was ready for them to meet the talent they brought along with them. So let's talk about the talent. Lynn McRee, she came from Hawaii. She is the kindest soul you will ever meet in your entire life. So sweet. I'll put some pictures at the end here. And then Alan Robinson, very talented individual. He was telling us stories of injuries on set and some of the things he's accomplished and achieved in his career. Awesome guy. Mathieu Coderre, second time meeting him. He is such a sweet dude. He is so nice. He I hope I get to work with him again in the future. He's so kind. Kevin Ball. This is a guy that I would love to just sit and listen to talk. I got his book. I can't wait to read it. But he has experiences and he's a kind soul. Like when he talks about things that he's passionate about, you know that he's being genuine. It was amazing to talk to him. And they were all that way, really, but it was amazing to talk to him about it. And then S.D.Nemeth. At 81 years old, the dude is still kicking ass, taking names, and is so kind. He was telling me about his adventures from the Cleveland, Ohio area out to LA and everywhere in between. And seeing him meet the fans and understand how appreciated he was so rewarding. I really hope he does another convention. It's not easy for him. He doesn't get around like he used to, but he was so nice and like so genuine, and it was really heartwarming to see that. And I mean, again, that goes for all of them. Lynn McRee didn't understand just how important Maureen Prescott was to fans. Alan didn't realize how much people would love his stories, and he gave like how to stab in the movies and things like that. Mathieu, since he got the initial experience in Detroit, he knew a little bit more of what to expect. The rest of them was the first convention appearances, but still, even he was just taken aback by the kindness of these fans. On the first day, I sat with S.D.Nemeth as he signed autographs. I took pictures for him and fans. If you're one of those fans who came through, please, I'd love to see the pictures that you got. And the the signings that he did, he's left-handed. Be nice to left-handed people, man. Gah. It's harder for left-handed people to sign because their hand can drag across. And yeah, that sucks. But they're still people. They're not like robots. They're not, I mean, they're doing their best. And it bummed me out sometimes. Um, and my stepdaughter's a lefty. So I think that kind of plays into it as well, why I was a bit more be nice about it. We spent the whole day signing autographs. The room that we were in was excellent. We had a lot of great people. We had a gentleman from The Thing. We had on the other side of the room Amanda Beers and Stephen Jeffries from Fright Night, Susan Baclini from Jaws, Jeremy Davies from The Black Phone, and that dude is cool as shit, by the way. I had the opportunity to meet him, and he was so nice, and I love his style, his hair, his beard. Dude, he could be brothers. Um, and I was wearing my Josh's Hoarder Corner shirt, and he's like, "Oh, you're on your shirt," and we like joked about that a little bit. And I was like, "I have pins," and he's like, "I want a pin." So I ran back to my table, I grabbed a couple pins, and I gave it to him, and he handed one to his manager. He's like, "Is it okay if I give one to him?" It's my manager. I'm like, "Yeah, man, for sure." He, I don't want to say hinted. It's not the right word to use. Made me believe that he might be back for Black Phone 2. Very subtly, the most subtle way you could possibly imagine. So I probably am making it up in my mind. PSL. But he was so nice. I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but I was. There you go. And then that night, the one thing I will say about Chiller is it's hard to find food in that area. So that night we went to the bar, had a couple drinks with Rob, with Schwabe, with Lynn. Who was there with us that night? Kevin went to bed early. I think Alan did too. Maybe it was just the four of us. Yeah, we had a couple drinks, got pizza, and then called it a night. Very long day. And then Saturday, I got up bright and early to go get Matthew from the airport. Um, I don't know. I think his flight got delayed. I don't know the details, but he wasn't able to make it Friday, so we picked him up Saturday morning. Got him there. Went out, handed out more cards. Got the tables ready. That day, I was with Matthew, and we just hit the ground running. And again, he was so kind, so stoked, so happy to meet everybody. I was able to get couple autographs for my personal collection from the SigsCom folks, as well as Stephen Jeffries, and you'll hear about that sadness in the other killer video. And we met somebody from that I had met at Detroit. I'm forgetting her name, and I feel terrible. She's so nice. And she was there representing some Slumber Party Massacre guests and Friday the 13th Jason Lives guests. So she was kind enough to let Chuck and I get some autographs from them. We had the photo session. That was sick. Um, Alan had the screen mask. He took it for the photo ops, and we got our team down there. And I realized Matthew didn't have a prop or anything, and that bummed me out. So I ran back to his table. I grabbed a scream mask and the scream bucket for him and took it to him, and he was able to incorporate that into the photo ops. So that was cool. Uh, I didn't get to explore much of the convention. That's the one thing. I was really dedicated to staying to my table. I'd taken some pieces for Danny Glover to sign, was not able to get him signed just because of timing constraints, which I was mentally prepared for that. So it's not like I cried myself to sleep. Um, I was very dedicated to just staying at my table and showing SigsCom, like, I'm here for this. Anything else happens is just a bonus. That night, we went back to the bar to get food. Hung out with everyone. It was Matthew, Lynn, Chuck, Alan, Kevin, and I, and it was awesome just hanging out with these folks. I found out Matthew Perry from Friends passed away, and the only reason I'm bringing this up is because it was such an interesting thing to learn while you're hanging out with this group of people. So we got to talk a little bit about that and talk about some things, and it was a good chance for Kevin and I to have like a in-depth conversation about some things that he's passionate about. Because earlier I had tried to have conversations with him, and like every time it got going, I got pulled away for something, and I felt terrible. Felt terrible because I wasn't able to give him the respect the conversation deserved. Um, One thing I will say is if you're at a convention, understand that outside of those table hours, these guests have the right to enjoy their private time. So it's not fair to stop them when they're trying to get a drink or to interrupt them while they're trying to eat. Like, they're super nice and they're not going to be mean to you, but just keep it in your mind. There was a story on the Chiller page about somebody bugging um, Kevin Dillon, I believe his name is, while he was washing his hands in the bathroom, and just give some space. Simple as that. Sunday was a very tight day as far as timing. People shut down pretty early on Sundays, I learned, and we were handing out more cards, getting stuff through the tables. Uh, I was kind of working all the tables Sunday, and I then realized it's 3 o'clock. My flight boards at 4:30 at Newark Airport, which is a half hour away. I gotta go, and we didn't have really a plan to get out of there. So Chuck, being the mad, crazy, awesome man he is, was able to get me to the airport on time. We left the airport at we left the hotel at 3:23. I got to the airport at 3:53 and made it through security and everything. Got to my gate with a minute to spare. So, Chuck, you're the man. Thank you so much. And then the flight home was just thinking back on what an amazing weekend it was and what a great time it was and how many great people I met. John Zulu from Jay-Z, he brought me some awesome protectors for my Handmade by Robots figures, and I thank him for that. Just meeting him in person was enough. Uh, the the kindness of people. Did I mention I'm sick? I feel like shit, so bear with me. The kindness of people was not lost on me, and I'm so glad to have had the opportunity to be there. And I really hope that I have the opportunity to do it again someday. So I'll put some pictures in here. We'll wrap it up. And then I will do a second video showing the amazing, awesome pieces that I got from my personal collection here shortly. This was a great weekend and really gave me a lot of positive to put back into collecting, the collecting experience. Because it can be a very negative field sometimes. But this was nothing but positive.
Do 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 do.